overrun. We're seeing it here right now. Here we go. So we're seeing Neymar. He's doing what we call a swing step here. This allows him to change facing, change position, but keep with Bale. I mean, obviously he's one of the better attackers in our game, and you can see here last year he'd be overrunning that player. You play the game a lot.
That's one thing I do quite a lot. I sell my players short so much on FIFA. That's more my lack of skill more than anything.
Well, at times it
helped me.
At times it was a little bit difficult to keep with those players. So this is just, I should point out here, this is just one change that we've made of many. So we're giving you an example here. So if we move to the next one, it's not just about the player movement, it's also the team as well. So there are times, and this is an example, if we look at the bottom of the screen, we look at the right back, he's trying to get into an attacking position, but there's now a turnover in play here, and Barcelona get the ball. So he's then really running to get back into position. He's getting a good position there to sort of stave off that attack. And at times, previously last year, he'd be caught upfield, he wouldn't be back in position, and it became a little bit frustrating.
I don't think we see Glenn Johnson doing that, though. I think he'll keep running upfield.
Well, that's true. And he'll come inside and shoot his left foot. What we're seeing now is a really good example of work that we've done. The game would focus quite a lot on man-to-man marking. So, man-to-man, they mark very well. And if we actually look at the top of the screen here, you can see Rakitic is marking his man, but the ball comes into Benzema here, and then he sees that Bale makes a good run. And previously, Bale was going to be in. He was in on goal, but Rakitic comes away from the player he's marking. PK has him covered, and again, it's not getting those easy balls straight into the goalkeeper.
It's going to make it so much more compelling experience because people, once you play FIFA a lot, and people do play FIFA a lot, you're more than aware of these things. I'm sure you worked on sweaty goals people get sometimes, and I think that's going to eliminate that quite a lot.
Well, at the end of the day, we want to create a balanced game, and a balanced game, especially in a sports game, is a fun game to play. It creates more variety. What we're seeing in 15 was a little bit over pervasiveness of the speed and with the wingers. So people were playing with the same teams, they were using the same tactics. So we wanted to change that by shoring up the defence. Here's another example of it right here. We're seeing Marcelo come in on Messi, and we've actually redone all of the slide tackles. So he's going to come in and slide tackle, and previously in the game at times you're kind of selling yourself there and you're done if you don't make it. But he goes in, he slides in right now, and now you can branch out because Messi's managed to flick the ball up in the air, and if he presses X again, the slide tackle button, he pops back up.
Oh wow.
So you're back in the play. Again, it's about responsiveness. You're not completely selling yourself,
And it's a small thing that's going to have a huge effect.
It really does, because you could make that slide tackle before, you were down, you were out.
And you're out of the game.
Exactly. Now, that can happen. And obviously, we don't want this to become overpowering, but good players can get up. They're athletic enough to be able to get up. You see the momentum of the slide was still there.
I think Richard Dunn will be getting up, though, if he makes a slide.
Absolutely.
He'll be down.
The next thing we're going to see here, this is now looking at the midfield. It's still a defensive thing, but this has transformed the game. Build up play through the midfield. You can now see players are much more aggressive in trying to intercept the ball. And what we're seeing here is PK. He's got position where he's able to come in, and it's a nice two-player interaction here. So he's actually trying to win the ball back, and in this case does. Obviously, if he misses it, he's then out of position. It's kind of risk-reward. If we go on to the next one, this is a similar idea, but the ball is then played in here. If we watch Rakitic on the left of the screen by the referee there, he's going to notice the ball's being played. This is a slow shot. And he's then down, and he's aggressively intercepting. This is making you think how you build up play through the midfield. It's making you think about the passes, as you make them. I think there was at times where you play pass, not
it's
really thinking about it.
Mode. I can pass back. That man's in space. Let's do some tiki-taka. Let's do some triangles.
Absolutely.
And it's almost accepted that you'll retain possession, whereas now you've got to think about every pass.
And we still want that. I mean, you can still play the tiki-taka football. You can still, knock the ball around, but you can't just do it blindly. You've really got to think about it.
Awesome.
Now, we talked about balance right off the top, and this is a great example of maintaining balance in our game. This here, what we're seeing here is what we call passing with purpose. So this is holding down right bumper or R1 and pressing pass. You can do it anywhere, and it's a ping pass. It's a much quicker pass. You can see here, we saw the PK example earlier, and now Mascherano comes in. He can't get there because that ball's been played with more pace.
Quickly.
Now, it's a slightly heavier touch, depending on where you are and who's receiving the ball. But it's helping you get through that tighter defending, that more aggressive interception logic.
And it's a different option in that situation that unfurls more play.
And that's really transforming the feeling of the game. So now we're going to look at kind of those attacking third, those wow moments. And this is what we call no-touch dribbling.
This is really exciting.
Yeah, if you've seen this is it sounds strange because when you're dribbling, you're touching the ball. But look at the modern game.
I watch a lot of football. I know exactly that no touch, that touch you don't take.
Exactly. Exactly, and you know, here is a great example. He fakes right here, and then he's just facing up Ronaldo and goes one way and goes the other, and then explodes out to go round Marcelo, who's coming over to help.
Nice.
You know, and this is a really powerful thing that it just gives you another way. I think it's nice for people that maybe don't use skill moves. You know, it's just left bumper, but it gives you that opportunity to both with and without. You know, you can also do step overs of the ball. You can let the ball go by you and run onto it. We're going to show you an example of that was stationary. This is now on the move. Ronaldo's now sprinting with the ball, and this is just a little body feint. So you're going to see it now. Left bump. He does a little feint there. That PK buys it,
wow,
and then he's riding and he's on.
And that's just like real football. Those little body shifts, those little things. The players like Ronaldo, the players like Messi, that have it there in their locker to make that little bit of difference.
And it's a really simple thing to do, you know, which we feel as, you know, people are really loving it when they play.
Yeah.
So we talked about innovating across the entire pitch. The next thing we're going to show you now is crossing. We've really reworked our crossing system. So we're actually leading players a little bit more here. Looking at, instead of balls previously in FIFA were very square, you can see now he's leading towards, a bit more towards the keeper. Benzema is able to run onto it. This case is a great save. But we're not getting those square balls. At times, headers would feel a bit 50-50 dice roll. Who's going to win it? Now you can try and, you know, get into better positions. Here's another example of it right here. The ball is a little bit more whipped in, as you can see, and as it comes across here, you know, it's allowing the back post. He's coming in at the back post, running onto it, and unfortunately just heads wide. But again,
there's
you know,
the defending there. Oh my god, but you can see already it's so much more, you know, involved and so much more like a real game.
Absolutely.
That's what FIFA's always been great at every year is making it even more.
And keeping that balance is the key. You know, it makes for a much more enjoyable experience. So the final thing we're going to show you here is shooting. We've obviously done a lot in ball physics in the past, but now we're also looking at the foot as a sort of 3D space. So this is a straight shot. This is just hitting the back of the ball, and we're now creating much more driven trajectory.
Nice.
Much more driven shots feel much more rewarding. If we go to the next one, you'll now see that Kroos in this example actually gets his foot around the ball, so it creates kind of a more of an in-swinging shot. And it looks like a finesse shot actually, but this is a driven shot again. The ball's spinning inside and just goes inside the post.
But that subtle difference makes the
difference. Look at Benzema now cutting across the ball, and the ball comes away from you a little bit more, and in this case goes wide. But you know, you get that sense of ball and connection between the two. So these are some of the things that we're doing. It's just, you know, this is by far from everything. We're touching every system in our game, keeping the game balanced, you know, and allowing you to really create that sort of.
Well, I think it just shows you say it's the defence, it's the midfield, and the attack have all, you know, been revolutionised really here.
Absolutely, and you know, I think it's listening to what players want.